I want you guys to brace yourself. The details of this story are a little bit graphic. I don't know if I have enough graphics to warn you guys about the details, but we're going to be talking about some sensitive content. So there you go. We're not going to show any pictures. We're just going to talk about this. But a warning about my channel before we get into the details out of Chicago. Here we go. Let's get it. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. So our source for this particular story is coming from CBS12.com. So thank you for the article. Y'all brace yourself. One of the most disgusting murderous stories that not only cost the woman in the middle picture at the bottom her life, but the little baby that she was carrying cost the child its life also, because this woman had some intentions on her mind. I don't know what she was trying to accomplish at all. Maybe somebody can tell me what she was trying to accomplish. A Chicago woman accused of luring a pregnant teenager to her home, choked this woman to death with a rope till she died, suffocated. She then cut this woman's baby from her womb with a butcher knife nearly 5 years ago, and she pled guilty to murder on Tuesday and was sentenced to 50 years in prison. So technically, she took 2 lives. Why 50 years? Why even let her think that she's going to have an opportunity at freedom for doing this? And more people were involved. We'll get into this in just a second. Clarissa Figueroa, 51 years old, on the left-hand side of the screen, seated in a wheelchair. Oh, I would have never have allowed that to happen. I don't care what her issue is. I would have drug her in there. You're not going to be in no damn wheelchair. And wearing a bright yellow jumpsuit, did not provide a statement, but answered yes when Cook County Judge Peggy Chimpas asked her if she understood she would need to serve the entire sentence and would not receive early release on parole, according to news outlets. Prosecutors said that Figueroa strangled 19-year-old Marlene Ochoa-Lopez with a cable on April the 13th in 2019 after luring this young lady, this young mother. And we're going to get into that. And I don't want any family or friends or people listening to get upset about what I'm getting ready to say. Strangled this 19-year-old woman, mother, luring her to her home with the promise of free clothing to her unborn child. Let me read that again. The lure, the bait, was that this woman was going to give her free clothing for her child. She went to this home and was murdered. For that alone, and anybody who participated in that deserves a life sentence, not 50 years. I want to see LIFE when I log into that website and see what your damn sentence is. Life sentence. Screw that 50 years. That's bull crap. Prosecutor said that Ochoa-Lopez was 9 months pregnant. Figueroa then called 911 saying that she was the one that actually, she said that she was the one who actually gave birth to the child and the child was not breathing. First of all, let's go back. And I'm sorry if y'all think that I'm being mean or disparaging, but they killed children and they killed a young mother, ruined the boyfriend, a potential father, traumatized these people. I want y'all to take a look at this woman on the right-hand side of my screen. that is wider than all of outside. That just not an attractive person. I'll say that. I'm trying to think about what can I say that will not get me flagged. On top of that, she's 50 fucking 1 years old. Who's going to believe that a 51-year-old looking like this, who would think, first of all, she'd get what anybody would even attempt to even do the actions of creating pregnancy up in all of those flaps, right? All of that smelliness and bad breath and bad hygiene and just high cholesterol. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about? AFC. Women become high risk pregnancy after the age of 35 years old. It is virtually impossible, not all, virtually impossible for a woman to have children, especially being high risk after the age of 40, let alone 41, let alone 42 or 43 or 44 or 45 or 46 or 47 or 48 or 49 or 50 or 50. Look, I done ran out of fingers. Ran out. Really? 51? I just gave birth to a baby. My baby not breathing. Man, as soon as she walked in the hospital, I would have took something and just right across the face. Woman, are you sick? Are you dumb? Delusional? You serious? Got the dumb face on, ma'am. Are you serious? Who's going to believe that? It's like they keep coming. Look, boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. When she walked in there, it was like there was this music. There was this band walking behind her. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, let me stop. Y'all get my point. Not only is that a dumb lie, it's a lie that ain't nobody gonna believe. From old 51-year-old Flaps. I'm going to call her Flaps. That's her new name. That's her new name. Let me get Flaps back up on the screen. Messed up this baby's life, that child's life, that young girl's life. Look at old Flaps. Who would have got old Flaps pregnant? Nobody. Nobody. Absolutely nobody is that damn dumb to get old Flaps pregnant. Oh. Y'all stop laughing in the chat. I feel like a horrible person. I'm going to go to hell, I promise you. The child ended up dying 2 months later. At least the father got a chance to see that child for 2 months. Ochoa-Lopez, the victim's husband and the father of the child, Giovanni Jadel Lopez, described how the tragedy affected him and the couple's older child, Joshua, who he had lost his mother forever. Authorities said not long after Clarissa Figueroa's adult son died of natural causes, she told her family she was pregnant. Flaps told her family that she was pregnant. 51-year-old Flaps. Pun intended. Yes. They said that she plotted for months to acquire a newborn and that she posted an ultrasound and photos of a room decorated for a baby on her Facebook page. We'll get back to that here in a moment. In March of 2019, she and Ochoa-Lopez connected on a Facebook page for pregnant women. So she was stalking this woman. Detectives investigating Ochoa-Lopez's disappearance learned that she had gone to the defendant's home. 2 weeks after her disappearance, police found her car parked nearby where they were told that Desiree Figueroa, Clarissa's daughter, that her mother recently had given birth. DNA tests later determined that the child was not Flaps. This was not Flaps' child, y'all. I'm sure y'all are shocked by that. Ochoa-Lopez's body was found in a garbage can outside of Figueroa's home. Flaps tricked her boyfriend, Peter Boback. Where is old Boback at? Let me get Boback and Flaps back up on the screen real quick. That is a funny name. Look, Peter Boback, man. Your Boback is bareback and Flaps? God, you just, man. Peter Boback is barebacking old Flaps. And he was dumb enough to believe that Flaps got pregnant. Boy, you just think that it can't be that much dumb nation in the world. And you look at these people and like, well, here you go. Here are three dummies, Tweedledee, Tweedledum, and Tweedledoom. Tricked him into believing that he was the father of old Flap's child. Boback cleaned up the crime scene and was sentenced to 4 years in prison after pleading guilty last year to obstruction of justice. He is so lucky that's all he got. Desiree Figueroa, 29 years old, the dummy right here on the left-hand side of the screen, pled guilty to murder in January for helping her mother and was sentenced to 30 years in prison. And that sounds about right. She has agreed to testify against her mother, and I hope that she does. So let's talk about a couple of things. Let's talk about the options that Flaps actually had, okay? Y'all ready for this? In the middle, Flaps, right there. Have y'all never heard of adoption? All of these children in the CPS system, all up in the videos, right? That need a good home to go to. And I'm not saying that this was a good home to go to, but what I'm saying is if she wanted a child, a baby, a young baby, all of these children that have been given up at these safe havens, right? There's certainly out there some foster parents that would qualify to take these children in. So if theoretically, if she would have qualified, she could have gotten her newborn baby without committing fucking murder. Right? But that ain't what she wanted. She's delusional. Let me tell you what she actually wanted. She wanted people to believe that she was wanted by somebody sexually. And she wanted to prove to the world that somebody wanted her so much and she still looked good at 51 years old, allegedly, that Peter Boback, her boyfriend, was dumb enough to believe that he got old Flaps pregnant. And so drawing him in emotionally, and then come to find out that all of that was BS. So you didn't went and killed two people to prove that somebody wanted you sexually? She's not wrapped tight at all. And I'm telling you, that's why I believe that she deserves every bit of a life sentence and not 50 years. I don't want to see a number on it. It should say 0, life term. Let's talk about the difficult part, because this is coming from me being a father. This girl at 19 is only 3 years older than my daughter. Actually, less than 3 years. Now that I think about it, damn. So I'm essentially old enough to be this young mother's father. I'm old enough to be her dad. You know what I would say if I were a dad and I were a father? If you need help that much that you need baby clothes from strangers and not your family and not from the man who had sex with this young woman and got her pregnant, between the two of y'all and y'all family didn't give you enough for what you needed, she sought the help of strangers online, and it caused her and her child's death. That's the hard part. That's the part where you might get up in your feelings and it might hurt you in the stomach like, oh my God, did Jay just say that? Yes, I did. What in God's green earth between y'all two? Y'all need to go seek the help of strangers. If this man is man enough to get you pregnant, he should be man enough to be able to take care of whatever it is that y'all need. If not, we all need help. I needed help. My daughter's mom needed help. People do need help with children. Then the family circle ought to have been able to take care of that. Right? Her family circle, aunties, uncles, cousins, friends. Where's her best friends at? Where are her peers at? Where are her classmates at? I'm sure she's not, but what, a year or two out of high school? Bingo. Thank you. I'm not trying to be mean or insensitive. I'm thinking about this from a logical mind, from a father's standpoint. What caused you to get to this point? And it's ridiculous because you didn't need that woman's help that freaking much, or you shouldn't have needed her help that much. That's all I'm saying. Because those people were sick and they were predators and they were looking to murder that child. Let me give you guys the fair usage. I hope I didn't run nobody off. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. I'm going to tell y'all this. In my humble opinion, that's why I believe that y'all come to my channel. Not for the funny stuff, not for the news stories, because y'all can get that from anywhere. It's those life lessons that you can teach your young children, teach your girls, teach your families, make our community better. You can watch any of my videos, and any of these will make your immediate family circle better just by following my ideals and my beliefs. Y'all do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section, even if you disagree. Let's talk about it. Tell me why you disagree.
The family of Marlene Ochoa-Lopez tells ABC7 it is agony to be in court. They hope a plea agreement with the murderer of the young mother will help them move forward.
We say thank you to the Cook County State's Attorney that justice was served for Marlene Ochoa-Lopez and baby Yadiel Lopez.
In court today, Clarissa Figueroa acknowledged luring Ochoa-Lopez to her home in 2019 under the guise of giving the pregnant 19-year-old baby clothes. Instead, Figueroa and her daughter strangled Ochoa-Lopez and cut her baby from her womb. After the horrific acts, Figueroa then pretended to be the baby's mother and called 911 for a baby in distress. Her lies would unravel and lives were changed forever. The baby boy died 2 months later in his father's arms. Ochoa-Lopez and her husband had an older son, too. Before the judge entered the plea agreement in which Figueroa pleaded guilty to first-degree murder, 2 victim impact statements were read. From Ochoa-Lopez's husband and father of their boys, Giovanni Lopez wrote, "Your punishment will never be enough because my son will never be able to hug his mother, ever." And Ochoa-Lopez's mother wrote, "The loss of my daughter's life is something I will never overcome."
There's never going to be a number big enough, and they're never going to bring Marlene or Yadiel back to their arms.
Outside of court, Giovanni Lopez said, "I lost my family, and that will always stay with me." Before accepting this plea deal, the judge told Figueroa to consider all of the lives that were impacted by her actions, and she told her to think of all of those people affected every single day. Figueroa's daughter, Desiree, has already pleaded guilty for her part in this. She is yet to be sentenced.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago Eyewitness News.
Now, a big developing story. A Chicago woman charged in the horrific murder of Marlene Ochoa-Lopez and her baby has been sentenced to 50 years in prison.
The pregnant 19-year-old was lured to a home on the city's southwest side and killed when her unborn baby was cut from her womb. Jorge de Santiago with our sister station Telemundo Chicago joins us now live with more on what happened in court today. Jorge.
Hey there, this was a very emotional day for the widow, Giovanni Lopez, and his family. In the victim impact statement, Giovanni Lopez told the judge, Peggy Champas, that he suffers from nightmares and depression over the death of his wife. Take a look at the images because according to the prosecution, Clarissa and Desiree Figueroa, mother and daughter, are accused of strangling Marlene Ochoa-Lopez in April of 2019 and removing the baby from her womb. According to authorities, Clarissa deceived Marlene by promising baby items through a Facebook account targeting pregnant women. The plea agreement indicates a 50-year sentence behind bars for Clarissa Figueroa for the charge of first-degree murder, with her required to serve the full term. All other charges will be dismissed as Clarissa pleaded guilty.
Man, I honestly wish that baby would have survived. That just would have been the biggest blessing ever, in my opinion. I wish that baby would have survived.
It doesn't matter how he feels, he says, because no matter what he heard today, no matter what the law of man has given them 50, 30 years, it's never enough. But he walked out of that courtroom without his wife, his son, without his family.
And tomorrow, Desiree Figueroa will be in front of Judge Peggy Champas. Desiree has pleaded guilty in this case at the beginning of this year. So tomorrow we might know how many years behind bars she's going to spend because of this case. Live from 26 in Cal, I'm Jorge de Santiago for Telemundo and NBC5 News. Now back to you guys in studio.
Thank you, Jorge.
A woman has received her prison sentence under a plea deal today for strangling a pregnant teenager and helping cut the baby out of the womb.
Loved ones of the victim shared impact statements before the sentencing. WGN's Angelica Sanchez is live at the criminal courthouse with more.
Yeah, do me a favor if you're listening, please hit that thumbs up. We want to have one thumb up for everybody watching. You got to subscribe to the channel. So if you would, do me a favor and please hit that thumbs up.
Well, family tell us that they felt that this route of a plea agreement was the best route to take because they did not want to relive the horrors of this crime in a trial.
Today, justice was served for Marlene and baby Yadiel Lopez.
A sense of relief after years of anguish.
Today, again, we say thank you to the Cook County State's Attorney.
On Tuesday, Clarissa Figueroa changed her plea to guilty nearly 5 years after she was charged with the April 2019 murders of Marlene Ochoa-Lopez and her baby boy. Prosecutors say Clarissa and her daughter, Desiree, lured the 19-year-old mother to their home with the promise of baby items for her unborn son. They say Clarissa then strangled the 19-year-old and cut her baby from her womb in an attempt to pass him off as her own. The baby boy passed away in June of 2019 after weeks on life support. A pastor working with the victim's family says they agreed with the plea agreement because they did not want to relive the horrors of the crime in a trial.
It's time for them to move forward. And again, there's nothing that's ever going to change the reality of the violent actions.
Figueroa was sentenced to 50 years in prison shortly after changing her plea. She was given credit for 1,799 days already served. As part of a plea agreement, she was only sentenced on the charge of first-degree murder. Loved ones of Ochoa-Lopez were able to deliver victim impact statements through the help of interpreters. Her husband wrote that even if Clarissa were locked in prison for eternity, it would never be enough for what's been done to his wife and infant son.
He says that he got justice for his wife today, but that he walks out of that courtroom without his family.
Now, when it comes to Desiree Figueroa, the second person charged in this crime, she took a plea deal earlier this year. She was set to testify against her mother. Family of the victims tell us that they do not plan on being there during her sentencing hearing, but they will make sure that they have victim impact statements read aloud during her sentencing. Reporting live outside the Cook County Criminal Courthouse, Angelica Sanchez, WGN News.
If I can give my closing thoughts about this story, just anybody and everybody that was involved with, I think they got the sentences appropriate, but just 50 years for the mastermind behind this, to me, is just not enough. So as a cautionary tale, I look into the camera and I ask people, if you have children her age, just out of high school, if they pregnant, got kids, you're never too old to be told, don't deal with strangers. Especially when you're a parent, the last thing that you should be doing is trusting strangers online because you don't know what people's intentions are. Whether it be male or female, you can't trust that. Especially when you don't have any way to be able to protect yourself, when you could get jumped, when you could get ambushed, pregnant as a mother, and you should never even be in a position where you even need to risk your life for something like some baby clothes, which the family circle, like I said, should have been the thing that would have covered all of that, from diapers to wipes to formula to cribs to car seats. All of that stuff is usually gifts from family and friends and cousins and your surrounding immediate family circle to cover you at least for 3 to 6 months. That's normal to me. That's normal for most family circles. But you shouldn't have to reach out like this. It's a very dangerous thing, and I wish that child would have survived. And in the way that this child was born, this child wasn't really born in a natural, normal way. The mother was murdered, which already is traumatizing to the child in itself because the mother's body internally, externally is being traumatized to death. Then slice this woman up like she didn't mean nothing, like her entire life didn't mean nothing, and took the child out of her body and then tried to take it to a hospital. I know people didn't expect for that child to survive. I guess it's just that you would just hope that the child's body would have been strong enough to survive. That would have been a beautiful story. But to meet its demise like this is just unreal. I hope that you guys will share this story to this young lady and to the family. I mean no harm. I'm speaking from a concerned father's standpoint. R.I.P. to your child also. R.I.P. I hope you guys hear this story with an open mind as well as an open heart. Thank you.